না পিঠ সোজা করবার নিকে গেছি গিয়ে দেখ ঘুমাই গেছি কে
তো এবার এটা গেম খেলার নিশা বানাই নিতেছিস কে?
কে
কে পড়ালেখা কি গেছে একবারে দুনিয়া
না
থেকে?
করব নি
করবি যার যার মতো তো পড়ালেখা দেখো শুরু করে দিচ্ছে মানুষ। তো আর কি প্ল্যান করতে করতে এই দিন যাবো গা।
ওটা শয়তানি কয়।
Of course, if you can.
Ahí. Discord.
Hi everyone, welcome to Helpful Solutions. In today's video, we'll talk about Discord keeps disconnecting when playing games. Step-by-step guide for quick fix. Number 1. Disable quality of service QoS high packet priority. Open Discord and navigate to settings, voice and video. Scroll down to the advanced section.
Voice. Advance.
Toggle off enable quality of service.
You just must always animate. What the fuck? Enable quality of service.
Is high packet priority. This setting can sometimes cause instability during gaming sessions. Number 2. Adjust hardware acceleration. In Discord, go to Settings, Advanced, toggle off hardware acceleration. Disabling this can reduce CPU usage and prevent audio issues during gameplay. Number 3. Limit game frame rate. Cap your game's frame rate slightly below your monitor's refresh rate. For example, if your monitor supports 144Hz, set your game to 140 FPS. This prevents CPU overload, which can disrupt Discord's performance. Number 4. Use Discord web version. Access Discord through your browser at discord.com. This can bypass client-specific issues and offer a more stable connection. Thanks for watching.
What's learner fix? নিম্ন fixer.
In this video, I will show you how to fix the Discord disconnecting and reconnecting problem. So there's a few things I'm going to go through with you today, a few settings we're going to change in order to resolve this problem. You can see that you're having connection problems on, and what you want to do channel, you want to edit channel. So So by default it's set to 64 kbps. However, if you do have some people on poor connections, this can be detrimental. So what you want to do is basically turn this down to about 50, and once you've done that, make sure to come down and click the Save Changes pop-up.
Okay.
Also on the screen, you want to come down towards the bottom, and in here you're going to see a section called Region Override. Save Changes pop-up. Also, however, if you do voice channel on that server. Now, once you're in the voice channel, you want to right click onto the voice channel itself to bring up this menu, and then you want to come down and click onto edit channel. So in here, there's a couple of things we're going to change. The first thing you're going to want to do is change the bitrate. So by default, it's set to 64 kbps. However, if you do have some people on poor connections, this can be detrimental. So what you want to do is basically turn this down to about 50, and once you've done that, make sure to come down and click the Save Changes pop-up. Also on the screen, you want to come down towards the bottom, and in here you're going to see a section called Region Override. Now by default, it's going to be set to automatic. However, say for example, you're in the UK and most of the people in chat or voice channel are from a different part of the world, say they're in China for example, what you would do is you want to change this to a region where most of your members are. So if it was China for example, we could go ahead and select Hong Kong, and again, any changes you make, be sure to come down and click the Save Changes button at the bottom. So once we've done that, we can go ahead and close this window down, and what we're going to do now is come down to the bottom left hand corner and click onto this gear icon to go into our user settings. Now from here, you want to come to this menu on the left hand side and locate the voice and video option, which is underneath the app settings section. So just click onto this. In here, what you want to do is just scroll down slightly on the settings until you get to this option that says about quality of service. Enable
Quality of
quality of service, high packet priority. Now if this is turned on, what you're going to want to do is actually disable this, and also what you want to do is come down to the section about audio subsystem and click onto this and change it to legacy.
you say
On the pop of that is turned on, what you're going to want to do is actually
crisp airport hide advanced voice setting bypass system ভ্যাস কি লুষ্টি আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে কি অফ করতে বলছা
disable this, and also what you want to do is come down to the section about
audio subsystem audio subsystem stream attention strip what the fuck is this subsystem
audio subsystem and click onto this and change it to legacy. On the pop of that comes up
audio
make sure to go ahead and click OK. What it's going to do is quit and relaunch Discord to apply your changes. So once we've done that, what we can do is come out of Discord. So you want to close down Discord. Now what we're going to do is change some settings on our PC or laptop to further resolve this problem. So the first thing you're going to want to do from your desktop is come down to the bottom left hand corner and type CMD into the search box. At this point you want to right click onto command prompt underneath best match and make sure to run this as administrator. So what that's going to do is open up the command prompt and you want to type the following command into here. So you want to put IP config just like so. Then you want to put space and then a / and then put flush DNS and then press enter. Once you've done that, just go ahead and type exit and then press enter. Now the next thing we're going to do is come down to the bottom left hand corner to our search box. This time we want to go ahead and type VPN. Now you want to look for VPN settings, so you can see that's just here. What we need to do now is, if you're still getting problems, it basically checks for pay for this. So what you can do, give it a go on category. So to change adaptive settings, then what you
If you experience any kind of lag when you're using OBS, whether that's through recording or streaming, here are some things. But the first thing that I want you to do is that whenever you open up OBS, I want you to right click on it and right click on OBS Studio and run as administrator. This is going to be super important because what this does is that it tells your computer to prioritize OBS and give it as many resources as possible. Once you open it up as an admin, you want to come here to where it says settings. You want to go to advanced and you want to make sure the process priority is on high or above normal. Again, we want to just tell the computer to give us as many resources as it possibly can. So that's going to be the first thing that you can potentially do, and that should automatically already start to improve the lag and CPU usage of OBS here for you. So once you've done that, the other thing that you can do that's a really easy fix is to right click on this main window. Once you have all your overlays set up, all your scenes, and you're kind of already familiar with what's going on, that you don't need to physically see what's happening in OBS, I encourage you to right click on this main screen and remove enable preview. Just by doing that, you're going to see a massive drop in your CPU usage because no longer are you having to display and output, whether it could be recording or streaming, what is in the center here. Okay, so those are already two things that should dramatically change what's happening in OBS. Now let's go ahead and tap into a few setting things here. So if you come here to settings, what I want you to do is I want you to come here to where it says output. And it's super important whether you're streaming or recording, the encoder that you're using matters. Okay, so if you have multiple options like I have here, then you want to make sure you use the NVIDIA NVIC H264. If you only have X264, then you want to make sure that you have this set at very fast. Again, these are some of the things that matter when it comes to streaming and recording. And again, these settings matter here for streaming as well. Same thing as the encoders. You can see here, this is the one that I want to utilize because what this does is that it takes the pressure off of my CPU and puts it on my GPU, allowing it to be able to handle that. Now, if you're on Mac, some of this stuff doesn't really matter, but just let me know in the comments and I'll make a video specifically for Mac on what you need to do in OBS to kind of reduce lag. But let's keep moving here, right? So these are just an order process that you kind of want to start going through. Now, before I go ahead and change any more of your settings in OBS, what I want to do is I want to jump into your PC settings because these are some things that you can go ahead and adjust. So the first thing I want you to do is to right click on your window and click on display settings. What I need you to do is I need you to come down here to where it says graphics, okay? And I want you to scroll down till you find OBS Studio. Once you have OBS Studio here, I want you to click on, and I want you to go to GPU performance. I want you to have it on high. Make sure that that's true because if you have it on power saving, then again, you're not getting as many resources being sent over to the OBS. Then, since we're here in this window here as well, on the left-hand side, right behind my camera, there's going to be a section called gaming. You want to come to where it says game mode. You want to make sure you have this off, okay? Because again, this is going to reduce kind of the double usage of support that's being utilized from the OBS and the PC as well, okay? So again, doing those things there already is going to give you a massive boost of improvement when it comes to OBS Studio. And like I mentioned, you don't need to do everything that I'm showing you here. Just try some and then see which one works. That way you're not just destroying all of your settings. Then here's a quick little hack that I want to show you guys, because a lot of the times when you're lagging, it can come down to the fact that you have too high of a resolution. So if you're streaming or recording at 1080, 60 frames per second, and you're experiencing too much lag, then here's what I encourage you to do. I encourage you to bump this down to 720, 1280 by 720, and you can first start out by leaving it at 60 frames per second, especially because you're gaming. But again, most people are going to be watching your content or your stream through mobile. Having it at 720 will dramatically reduce the amount of usage that you have on your computer, especially when you're streaming or recording, and you're not going to see a massive loss of quality. Now, if you're like, hey, I really don't want to drop down to 720, if you're gaming, it's really hard to drop down to 30 frames per second, but you can go ahead and try it out to see if you can put this at 1080 on my camera. There's going to be a section called gaming. You want to come to where it says game mode. You want to make sure you have this off, okay? Because again, this is going to reduce kind of the double usage of support that's being utilized from the OBS and the PC as well, okay? So again, doing those things there already is going to give you a massive boost of improvement. Again, doing those PC as well, reduce kind of the double usage off, okay? Because again, this is going to reduce kind of the double usage of support that's being utilized from the OBS and the PC as well. Okay, so again, doing those things there already is going to give you a massive boost of improvement when it comes to OBS Studio. And like I mentioned, you don't need to do everything that I'm showing you here. Just try some and then see which one works. That way you're not just destroying all of your settings. Then here's a quick little hack that I want to show you guys, because a lot of the times when you're lagging, it can come down to the fact that you have too high of a resolution. So if you're streaming or recording at 1080, 60 frames per second, and you're experiencing too much lag, then here's what I encourage you to do. I encourage your guests to be able to perform as best as possible. You're going to get smoother recordings and you're going to get smoother streams. Okay, so that's going to be the first thing that you want to make sure that you do. Then, as always, the biggest thing that you want to make sure is that if you're going to go ahead and be having multiple apps open, make sure that you close whatever you don't need. If you don't need Discord open,